Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this Extreme Warfare Revenge series. My name is Andy, the Uncommented. This is episode number 20 of the series where I am booking Control Your Narrative. Now if you've watched episode number 19, then you will know that I sort of teased maybe doing 2 videos this week in sort of a bit of synergy. That's a nice corporate word, isn't it? In terms of synergy to do with SummerSlam, we're having 2 nights of SummerSlam, so why not have 2 Control Your Narrative video. So this is the teased second video, so for the 2 people that follow this series, you are welcome. And in this video we're going to be doing also 2 shows. We're going to be booking the next episode of Disruption and the next episode of Liberty, not in that order. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 30th of July, so if you're watching this on the day when it goes onto YouTube, which will be Sunday, the SummerSlam Sunday, I don't know what the date is, 3rd, 2nd, don't know, can't work that out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What does matter is what is going to take place in this video, and I've already told you what that is going to be. So we're going to be doing the next 2 shows, continuing our build to an event that quite frankly would dwarf SummerSlam were this to be real, and that is our June 27th event, which as you can see is called Ascendance. So we've got the next episode of Liberty coming up on Wednesday, and then the following Monday, the latest episode of Disruption. So let's get on with it. Hopefully we can get through this video without anybody checking into rehab or anything else of that nature going on. Right, so we're at Liberty Day, if you like, if you want to call it that. To keep an eye on this contract, we're only down to 6 weeks. I do need to keep an eye on that. Right, now I didn't do this in the last video, but I'm going to do it in this video, despite the fact that these 2 videos are coming out one day apart, so it is a bit pointless doing a recap, but we'll do it anyway, because that's how I roll. So this was where we left off at the end of the last video, so that was the last episode of Disruption. So the video for the Blacklist, of course, they've kidnapped Chris Dickinson, who they're trying to recruit to their clan, if you want to call it that. Bad Luck Fale defeated Joe Hendry with the help of the fellow Bullet Club War Doggians. Chuck O'Neill returned to TV and vowed to end Bateman's career. That was what that interview was about. Sonny Kiss beat Brian Johnson, because why not? The Titan and Grizzly Redwood, so the Titan is Adam Scher, of course. They basically goofed about in what was hopefully a comedy segment. Maki Ito did an interview where she criticised Hikaru Shida. There was a hype video to remind us that Richard Holliday has debuted and he has beef with the Whisper. And then in the main event we had a 6-person tag. It was Jonah and the Hatchet Boys defeating the masked trio of Shark Boy, Atomic Super Thunderfrog and Mac 10. So that's where we left off. We've got I think we've got 5-6 shows before we do the big June event. So let's get on with it. The next episode, the second ever episode of Liberty to take place on prime time. So once again, up against Dynamite. We'll have to see how they counter program. Us, no doubt, doing a multi-person match where a certain $100,000 on the line. I hear they like doing that nowadays, but I'm sure that'll put some butts in the seats. I'm sure. I did that joke in the last video, didn't I? Anyway, still rings true because I've just watched an episode of Collision, and guess what? They did a match where the winners got some money. I mean, hard to believe, isn't it, that they do that? What a great idea. Anyway, let's not talk about AEW. Let's instead focus on what we're going to be doing here. And we're going to be kicking things off with an angle, because we love a good angle on this show. And I've changed EC3 to a manager, so I made him the manager of Jonah. He's not really, but for the purposes of this, it kind of works. Because I can't make EC... Well, I could make EC3 an authority figure, but I haven't made EC3 an authority figure. So to get him to be able to sort of, for want of a better word, book matches, then I need to make him a manager. So we're going to do... So it's going to be that. Manager asks other worker to give client match, accepted. But it's not really going to be that. So it's going to be EC3... And it's going to be, of course, Shark Boy, and it's going to be Jonah. So he wouldn't be asking him to do a match. Essentially, what we're doing here is he'd be making the match, saying, well, you know, and then he makes some kind of, he wouldn't say, well, you know, he'd make some kind of biblical reference about. He could make quite a few references actually. So he makes some kind of, was it biblical? There's a story Jonah and the Whale, So it'd be Jonah and the Shark Boy. He makes some kind of reference to do with that. And then obviously, and then he's going to make it. He's going to make it a cage match. So it's going to be Jonah versus Shark Boy in a cage match at Ascendance. And then of course he can make a reference about, well, you know, people are normally locked in cages to stay away from sharks. Well, this time I'm going to lock the shark in the cage with the monster or something like that. You get the idea. Some kind of references. We'll pay the writers to. That's what pay the writers for, to put better stuff than I can. But yeah, you get the idea. So that's set up that match. The latest thing. The latest vendetta, if you like, the continuation of the vendetta between EC3 and Shark Boy. Speaking of the vendetta, where's Jenna Parazzo gone? Why don't they put her in a match where if she wins, she can win $50,000 or something? That'd get her back on TV. Anyway, that's not important. What is important is who's going to win this match, and it's going to be Richard Holliday. So of course, I didn't know whether to save his in-ring debut until Ascendance, but we'll get him on TV. We'll get him in a match here. He could win this match, just a job match. I feel a bit bad for Jervis Cottonbelly because I've got a few people in the roster that are literally just here to eat L's. And unfortunately, he's become one of them. But, yeah. Anyway. C'est la vie. Such is life. That's what some people are employed for, basically. 2 segments in one almost here. So it's going to be an interview with the Whisper. And you can criticise Richard Holliday and give a verbal attack. So the interviewer would ask him something like, well, what do you make of the allegations that Richard Holliday said about you? He knows the real you, and about your upbringing. Have you got any comments about that? And the Whisper would say, well, yeah, you know, they're not allegations. It's true. I did have a privileged upbringing, but unlike him, I don't let it define me. You know, I wanted to find my own path and blah blah. You know, but basically, like, he admits that it's true, but he distances himself from, you know, not allowing his upbringing to corrupt him into being a dick, basically, for want of a better way of putting it. So he acknowledges that there is some truth in what Holliday is saying. Next up, we've got a tag team match player. It's going to be the Hatchet Boys. I thought they were going to be a one and done, but we'll keep them around. They're quite useful. It's quite useful to have. And I've got something that I'm thinking of doing with the tag teams in the company. Although when I say tag teams, I've got these and the newly formed Get Tree's hands. That's pretty much it. So I've got an idea of something that might go on. But anyway, so it's going to be the Hatchet Boys taking on Mac 10 and Sunny Kiss. And the Hatchet Boys are actually going to win this match. So we'll have Corporal can pin Sunny Kiss. Sorry, Sunny. And it's going to be, of course, Jake Atlas running in. We'll have no aftermath. And that is just to keep that match building up. The Jake Atlas Sunny Kiss feud continues. Next up, we're going to have another. I don't know I'm going to do this one, but we'll do it as an angle. And we'll do it. I think I'm going to have to do it. No, we'll just do a hype video for. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So it's going to be a hype video for a worker, but not really. It's going to be Joe Hendry, and this is going to be another Joe Hendry music video. So if you've been following the series, you hopefully will remember that he did in the build-up to his match with David Finlay, I did a music video where he parodied the song My Sharona by the Knack and called it My Shillelagh. So for this one, it's going to be a music video, and I don't know the song he's going to parody, but he's basically going to be about Bullet Club. And, well, let's just say instead of bullet, it's going to be a word that starts with bull and rhymes with it and has an S in the middle. And, yeah, it's a word I'm not going to say because I want to keep this PG. But, although I said dick earlier, so maybe I should just say it. But, yeah, you get the idea. So instead of Bullet Club, it's going to be Bull Club. Yeah. I don't know what song that's going to be. But, yeah, he just comes up with a silly video that, gives the Bullet Club a different name, shall we say. And then next up we've got a random angle. It's going to be 2 partners hanging out. It's going to be It's gonna be me. That's a real song, isn't it? Don't know what that came into my head. Anyway, it's gonna be Grizzly Redwood and of course Adam Scher. And what would happen in this segment is basically Grizzly Redwood is in one-on-one action, and he's gonna ask Adam Scher not to come out with him. He wants to wrestle this match on his own. He feels like since they've teamed together that he's grown as a performer and he's become, you know, he feels like he could win a match he wants to go out and win a match on his own just to show that, you know, he's not the weak. He doesn't want to be viewed as the weak link of the team, basically. So that's why he does that. And then that leads us on to the match, and it's going to be another guy, much like Jervis Cottonbelly, that's here to lose, and it's Brian Johnson, and he's going to be taking on Grizzly Redwood. And our Grizzly is going to win the match, because why not? So he's proving that he's not a joke. Although I can't pick that as the purpose, so we just have to say none. Could put Grizzly Redwood over, that's not really the point of that. Next up, another interview with our good friend Yuki. Keeps helping her get over. So essentially she'd just be talking about here. She can talk about Mandy, why not? I was going to say Mina, but no. It's essentially going to be the Blacklist, so we'll say Mandy Rose, why not? Yeah. So essentially what would happen in that segment, in terms of the interview, she'd just say, the interviewer would just ask, oh, you know, Chris Dickinson's been kidnapped. Have you heard from, we haven't seen or heard anything from him. Have you heard it? Have you managed to get in touch with him? Do you know what's going on? And she just basically says no and hopes he comes back and hopes that by spending time with, if Chris Dickinson's with Mina Shirakawa, it might help her snap out of this brainwashing or whatever it is that's going on. So essentially that's all. She just basically slags the Blacklist up and hopes that Chris Dickinson can help and bring back Mina. That's what instead of we want Mina, it's bring back Mina. That's the hashtag that we've got going. So yeah, that's what that interview would be about. In fact, for that reason, I'm actually going to change it to. I'll change it. I don't think it really matters, but we'll do it anyway. And it's not really verbal attack, but you get the idea. Kind of is, because she's kind of criticising her for not being herself, essentially. Okay, next up, we have another angle, because I love an angle. And it's going to be another, and we're going to have walking backstage. And it's going to be Bateman, because tonight is Bateman's potentially final match. If he loses this match, he will retire. So when I set that angle up, when I shot the angle or whatever you want to call it to set this match up, I never actually said when the match was going to be, but it's going to be tonight. So Bateman, again, that would be we'd have it in a graphic at the start of the show, whatever. So Bateman, getting ready. Is this going to be his final match? I guess we're going to find out. And then before the match, we can play this video of Atomic Super Thunder Frog. So again, try and get him over as a fun kind of babyface that people want to get behind. And then the match itself, is Bateman's career about to end? Will he retire? If he loses this match, he will retire. So will his career continue? It's Chuck O'Neill taking on Bateman in the main event. Will he retire? Or will his career continue? Well, unfortunately, Bateman, time is done and we'll have to find somebody else to just lose. So Chuck O'Neill wins. And you know what? Yeah, they can shake hands, why not? After the match. And we'll see it's to put in a good match. Why not? Let's give Bateman a good send-off. So Chuck O'Neill ending Bateman's career on this episode of Liberty, the second ever episode on primetime. That's what we're delivering. So let's see what sort of rating it gets. I'm not expecting a great one, to be honest with you, but we shall see. Good. That was a good start. That was okay, I guess. The match quality was quite good. Good. Yep, we'll take that. That's fine. That's good. That was a good match. 83%. I feel like I've done that match before. But could be wrong, but we'll take it. Good. Good. Why not? Good. And good. Oh, well, that wasn't good, but everything else was good. But because of the handshake, to be fair. I think when you do a handshake with a heel, they tend to lose overness. But considering we didn't have the, we did okay there. Considering again we've not got the average. The overall's not the average of the two, which is a bit frustrating. In fact, it's more than a bit frustrating. Because it's cost us 59%. That would have been better if we got the average. It really is annoying when that happens. I don't know why it does it. Sometimes it's the average, sometimes it isn't. It's a little bit ridiculous. Oh, OVW. So OVW must have gone up to OVW has gone up to cult level now. So let's see who else they've signed. So they've signed Ted DiBiase, Jason Hervey. Let's see what wrestlers they've signed. Dasha Fuentes, Kurt Herron, Andy Shepherd, The Sandman, okay, Matt Taven, Raven, which rhymes, Dragon Lee, and that's it. Oh, we got a 1.04. That's the highest ever rating. That's pretty good. I think Tony Khan's going to be losing some sleep. Our ratings are good. We're happy. They don't want to move the time slot. Cool. So going up against AEW is pretty good. It's going okay. I don't know if not going up against OVW is helping them grow, but we'll take it for now. Right. So we need to plough on now to the following Monday, next Monday, whatever how we're going to put it, and we can do our next episode of Disruption. Friday the 13th. We should have had a show. We should have had our June event here actually. I wish I'd realised it was Friday the 13th. I would have done it, and then we could have had it themed about it. But I didn't, so I haven't. So there we go. There must be another Friday the 13th later in the year. I would have thought there will be at some point. No emails, no incidents, so that's good. Okay, Mickey James has gone to Ollie. Mia Yim's gone to Ollie. Nicole Matthews has gone to Ollie, so they must be starting a women's division. According to that. They could do worse with those three, because I had those three in my women's division in my PWG series, so if you haven't watched that, please go and check that out. But they were really good. They were all, especially Mia Yim. Mia Yim was awesome. In fact, Mia Yim was the MVP of that video, that series. She was great. She was fantastic. Anywho, next episode of Disruption incoming, and we're going to kick things off with the return of the. I want to say the. Yeah, Mina doesn't sound enough like Mac for that to be funny, does it? No, the return of the. I can't think of that rhymes with Mac that could represent Mina Shirakawa. Well, I can think of one word that rhymes with Mac that could represent Mina Shirakawa, but if I say it, then I'll get cancelled. So we're not going to say it. It begins with W though. But anyway, move on. And it's going to be the return of Mina Shirakawa. Such a shame that my mind went there. Anywho. And she is going to issue a challenge. Challenge for the next big event. So Mina Shirakawa is going to challenge her ex-tag team partner, I suppose you'd have to call her now, in Yuki. So again, she's just going to come out, make no reference to Chris Dickinson, no reference to anything, just come out, say to Yuki, I'm sick of you sticking your nose in my business and the Blacklist business, so, you know, if Mandy Rose stomping you in the head with a stiletto does it get into your skull, maybe I will. And she can have a pair of stilettos on as well, and just, you know, kind of make the point about it's feuds about stilettos. I don't know, but yeah. So that sets up that match. That match is going to be taking place not on Friday the 13th, sadly, but at Ascendance, which is on Friday the 27th. And then we're going to have a singles match between somebody that's normally in the tag team. So it's Too Tough Tony and Jervis Cottonbelly going one-on-one. And Too Tough Tony is going to win because Corporal Robinson is going to cheat. But this is actually going somewhere. We're sowing the seeds, not of love, but of dissension, of something else, I don't know. No aftermath. And there is a purpose to this, which the payoff's not going to. The payoff, I'm building it up, but it's not going to be a great payoff. But there is a point to it. I can assure you. Following on, we're going to have a backstage scuffle. And it's going to be a run-in for a quick save. So Joe Hendry, after his music video that he came up with, he's going to be attacked by Chase Owens and David Finlay, but his saviour is going to be Chuck O'Neill. So Chuck O'Neill, after retiring Bateman, is now going to get involved in this. So again, we teased in the last video, we talked about I think a cause was the word I used. So Chuck O'Neill coming to Joe Hendry's rescue because, of course, Chris Dickinson is no longer really about, and he's been the one that's been teamed with Joe Hendry. So Chuck O'Neill inserting himself into this rivalry, and of course the War Dogs won't like that. Following on, we're going to have an interview with Get Tree's Hands, and they are going to just say what they're going to do next. It's going to be hopefully a bit of a light-hearted, fun comedy interview. So, you know, they'll talk about Grizzly winning his singles match and what's next for them, and they've I don't know. Should we mention this here? Yes, we should. So they're basically going to mention that at Ascendance they're going to be at Ascendance. Basically, they're going to be doing something. Yeah, that's it. Basically, what's going to happen there. Next up, we're going to have another match. And it's going to be a rematch of a match that was fairly disappointed last time I did it, but hopefully, I mean, it's going to be equally disappointing here, but we'll go with it anyway. So it's going to be Jonah taking on Atomic Super Thunder Frog, the rematch that nobody wanted, and unfortunately for the Frog, Jonah is going to win, and he's going to win cleanly again, unfortunately for the Frog, and Shark Boy is going to run in after and sort of scare him off. So Jonah's going to win, then he's going to threaten to not overrule him, he's going to threaten to keep beating him up, and then that's when Shark Boy comes out and runs him off. And again, that just continues that build. And next up, sorry, we're just checking my I thought I'd only booked 2 matches, but no, we've got 3. That's okay. Right, next up, we're going to have 2 people throwing barbs at each other. And it's going to be... Yeah, they can trade insults, why not? So it's going to be the Whisper and Richard Holliday. So again, just going to build on what they're talking about, you know, the Whisper. Both coming from a privileged upbringing, but one bragging about it, the other one not, basically. And Richard Holliday is accusing the Whisper of not being genuine, not being who he really is. And he goes on to say, about, well, you know why they call him the Whisper, and we still never actually find that out, though, in this segment. The reason for that is I haven't thought of a reason, but I've got a rough idea. I mean, again, the payoff's not going to be worth it, but we'll go with it anyway. Excuse me. And then as I recover from choking, we're going to play a video. And it's going to be a video for Sunny Kiss, and Jake Atlas. And finally, the main event, which is a match, which I would have been set up earlier in the night with that segment between Joe Hendry, etc. So it's going to be Chuck O'Neill taking on Chase Owens. So again, when we did the backstage, after that segment aired, we'd have just put a graphic on the screen saying, "Oh, this match has been made for tonight. It's Chuck O'Neill and Chase Owens." We can't wait for that one. And the match is going to end as a draw. So it's going to be... we'll just say no contest interference, and we'll just shove Finlay out there. Why not? And then brawl to the back, and then build up to a future match. So again, I mean, obviously I've put Finlay, but it'd be Joe Hendry. I should tell you what. Let's change that. Let's put Farley in it rather than Hendry. Make sure he keeps getting on TV. So the match would go for about a minute, and then Farley'd run out, and then Hendry'd run out, and Phil'd run out. And obviously they're getting outnumbered, so they get beaten up, but I can't book that, but that's what would happen. So the War Dogs would outnumber them and beat them up, basically. Which, I mean, the actual booking, that's the closest I can get, so that's how we're going to do it. Anywho, less than 30 minutes, and we've got both shows booked, so it must be a new record for me here, but let's see what we can get here. Hopefully we can scrape 60%. I think it's going to be close, this one, but we'll see. Good. That was a good. That wasn't a good match. It was a good segment. It wasn't a good match. Yep. Is that more like the average now? 113 divided by 2. Yeah, that's yeah. So that will help. That will help the rating, which is good. That wasn't very good. Yeah, but that's okay, I suppose. Yep, that sucked. Yeah, I changed his gimmick to fun babyface because I just wanted to kind of come across as like a fun guy that people want to get behind because he's a guy pretending to be a frog. So why not? Well, that was a good segment. Throwing barbs. That was a good segment as well. 85%. I think I've done that match before. But, could be wrong. Well, that should have got us to 60% quite comfortably, actually, now, after that. Yeah, 62%. So despite the dreadful beatdown angle and Jonas still not being able to have a good match, we got the rating we needed. No incidents, so nobody going into rehab. 0.69? Why do we get such a bad rating? That's a bit disappointing. Don't know what caused that. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Yeah, a bit disappointing that. A bit of a damp way to end of the video in a damp script. Nearly got 200 people to come and watch it though, so that's good. Public image up to 74%, so we are getting there. We're catching up with OVW. And despite the fact that was a bit of a downer, we're gonna have to end the video here. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on this video should you choose to do that. While you're here on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Uncommentator, you'll find the rest of the videos in this playlist. So if you haven't watched yesterday's video, which of course it's a double header this weekend of Control Your Narrative goodness, then please go and check that out. Also, any of the videos in the series, you want to know how I've got to this point, they're all sat there waiting to be watched. Also, if you like wrestling, please go and check out my other not PWG, well, it was PWG, but it was Extreme EWR, that's what I meant to say. EWR series, where I booked PWG for a year, so go and see how awesome Mia Yim was in that. Also, I've played through WWE Crush Hour, so please go and check that out. I've also made some WrestleMania-related videos, which I would humbly recommend you watching. If you don't like wrestling, then I'm not quite sure how you are hearing this, but if that is the case, there's lots of other content that is not wrestling related on the channel, including Pokemon, including FIFA Street if you like soccer, including train racing if you like trains, and including Kirby if you like Kirby. But join me next time. We're going to be moving on to the next 2 episodes of Disruption and the other show that I booked, and hopefully nearly finishing off the build to our June event Ascendance. But until we get to that point, for now, from me, it is sayonara.